Hi there, and welcome to Soundpaint 4.0, which is a free update for the Soundpaint platform. And at the heart of it is a brand new technology that we've developed called C.A.F. C.A.F stands for Capture Analog Filter, but it's really also an homage to all of us that are caffeinated constantly and with a particular focus on coffee. I like to use the coffee analogy to describe vintage synthesizers. I can have the same handful of coffee beans, but depending on how I brew and filter those beans, I can get completely different tasting cups of coffees. And I like to use that analogy about vintage synthesizers. We're pouring the sound through its filter, the filter being the heart, the sonic soul of the synthesizer. So with C.A.F, we can now capture the essence of any vintage synthesizer that we desire. So it could be a CS80, it could be a Jupiter 8, it could be a Juno 60, it could be a MS10 or MS20, it could be an ART 2600, a Prophet, it doesn't matter. We have the ability to capture that soul and get inside of Soundpaint. Now, once we have it in Soundpaint, this is where the magic begins. Analog warmth. The sound of two CS80s just sweetly dancing together. Like, how beautiful is that? But in Soundpaint, I can make it even fatter. It's actually an idea we got from the CS80 itself, where you can shoot sine waves in parallel with the normal oscillators. We can play them in octaves. We can also play with the pitch of the sine waves. Or like experiment with micropitch. The free version of Soundpaint comes with two core filter models. The perhaps most influential filter of all time, the infamous ladder filter, with its warm, vintage, fuzzy kind of sound. But to pair it perfectly, like a perfect dinner with a fully matching wine, we also offer the gorgeous SEM Filter for free, that fat, expensive, dreamy kind of sound. The free mood filter with its 70s warmth and the OBHM filters comes for free in Soundpaint. These will be supplemented by other synthesizers, for example, the MS10, the Juno, the Jupiter 8, the 101. We got models for the CS80, the ARP 2600, and so forth coming very soon. Here's the free mood filter, but applied to two Juno 60s. I know, I'm freaking spoiled. And this is our free OBHM filter applied to 4 different Jupiter 8s. Isn't it gorgeous? All that sizzling noise up there. We also built all these beautiful filter presets here so you can quickly try different filter models on your program. Explore new colors. And we can just fool around with all of them. And of course, you can also save your own presets. Per voice filter. When we look inside of a true vintage synthesizer, we'll notice that it's neatly organized in all these different wires and components. What we're really seeing is diversity of sound. You see, on old vintage synths, every time you hit a key, a unique filter gets assigned to it. And that's exactly what we've captured with C.A.F. Are you caffeinated yet? Graphical Envelopes. With envelopes, we can mold the shape of our sounds. Or just twist them to perfection. We also created this culinary set of filter tutorials, all built directly into the filter. LFOs. Think of an LFO a little bit like your synths personal DJ that's like constantly tweaking the sound so you don't have to. You want that wobbly bass? That's an LFO. Or perhaps that pulsing, throbbing synth in a club track.
LFO, baby.
Or maybe you want that classic like... That's an LFO too. It's basically what makes a synth move. No caffeine required. Velocity filters. Imagine playing a piano and the harder you strike the key, the more the note brightens. In Soundpaint's C.A.F technology, we do this for every single key. And it's also a breakthrough because it's something that cannot be done on any existing vintage synthesizer. Well, till now. Unlock your Juno. This is the J60 captured at the deepest sampling level ever recorded. We call this UDS, or ultra deep sampling. Think like every classical preset or sound that it can possibly make, every raw oscillator in any possible variation, with and without the infamous Juno chorus, of course, and just virtually everything in between. Here's what it sounds like. Jupiter 8, the king of polysynths. This isn't your average soft synth or an emulation in any traditional sense. This is Michael Sembello's personal Jupiter 8, the very unit he wrote the famous Flashdance Maniac track on. Story goes that it was also prominently featured on Thriller. When I think of the Jupiter 8, I think of fat analog power pads and warm vintage brass, filmic arps and basses, soft nostalgic strings, retro leads, and one hell of a unison mode where all the voices melt into one. This is UDS sample J8, now powered by several brand new C.A.F models, which automatically unlocks when you purchase the library. Here's what it sounds like. Aftertouch. Our C.A.F filters features true polyphonic aftertouch, the first step out of many towards full MPE integration. And that's pretty much Soundpaint 4.0 for you. Nearly 2 years in development, dedicated to capturing all the little nuances of real hardware analog synths and integrating them fully into Soundpaint. Dedicated C.A.F models featuring all the greatest vintage synthesizers across music history, flexible envelopes, high-res time stretching, and perhaps most importantly, consistently low on your CPU. But most importantly, just thank you. Thank you for supporting Soundpaint and helping us evolve the platform together with our community. It's been a lifelong dream for me to capture the authentic soul of vintage synths in software. And now, thanks to C.A.F, using the hardware synths is completely optional to me. And man,